Greetings Samurai! Today we'll be looking at the GM kit, one of the most likely purchases after or at the same time as the core rulebook. This is the only Legend of the Five Rings RPG product we have seen that comes shrink wrapped, and it does so because it contains two main elements. Please do be careful when opening it, as a wayward knife can easily cut into the folds of the GM screen. The first thing you see is this blank cover page designed to be thrown away. This is a shame, as the rear could easily have held a map, NPC stat blocks, a handout or other game information. At least use it as a bookmark or take notes on it before recycling it. A Games Master screen is a popular accessory designed to summarise key information the GM will need during play, to speed things up and avoid referencing the rulebook. Very convenient if there is only one copy of the core book in your group. It also serves to shield the GM's notes, adventures and die rolls from the players to preserve the air of mystery and uncertainty. It often has pretty artwork on the side facing the players, and you will hopefully recognise this as the scene on the front and rear flyleafs of the main book. This example is 33.5 inches or 85 centimeters wide by 10 4/16 of an inch or 27.5 centimeters tall. Luckily it won't take up this much table space, as the two end panels fold in to keep it upright. There is no reason you need to use it as a screen, however. You can simply keep it as a handy reference chart as and when needed. It is constructed from sturdy cardboard, at least as thick as the tokens in the beginner box. 4 separate panels will be joined together by strips of fabric, allowing the screen to bend through 365 degrees without damage. The front panel art will be glued over the card and pressed onto the creases before being folded over the sides. The rear panel paper, which is smaller, will then be glued on, overlapping the edges of the front sheet. Both papers are what is called linen finish, meaning they are hard wearing and have a noticeable texture to them. This is great for durability, but does mean it will collect and hold onto dirt really easily. You can see our copy came with a number of scuffs and ink marks from the manufacturing process. This type of material should survive an accidental spill if you reach it quickly enough, but the light colours would be prone to staining. The graphic design shares the same conventions as all the other products in the range in terms of typography, colouring, tabulation and so on. Handily, all the information except the die symbols and unarmed profiles have page numbers where you can see the full explanations in the main rulebook. Where a table is reproduced, it is often truncated to omit the flavour text and description, leaving only the rules mechanics, meaning they can be slightly smaller, or a great deal smaller, so don't be tempted to ditch the rulebook altogether. If information can't be conveniently abridged, there is a list of page numbers grouped into categories. Generally, the most used information appears on the left, such as how to make a check, what the symbols mean, and sample target numbers, through to common item qualities on the right-hand side. Your campaign or playstyle may prioritise different information, particularly when future books introduce new rules. There are some spaces where you could write or paste on new text or small charts. What we do is attach the information on post-it notes. That way you can easily update it, reposition it or lift it to check the information behind it. And you can close up the screen without it falling out or being disturbed. Whilst it is nice to have pretty artwork facing the players to help them focus on the setting, if you are going to disturb that with printing, then maybe print useful things on there for players, like the dice symbols or the turn structure, to be as helpful as possible. The second part of this product is a 32-page softcover booklet containing the adventure Dark Tides. Beware, the product description on the rear gives away huge spoilers about the nature of the adventure, so you might want to hide this from your players. This can be the third part of a trilogy that began with the Topaz Championship in the beginner box and continued with the free online adventure in the Palace of the Emerald Champion. But this isn't a prerequisite, and you can use this as a standalone adventure or weave it into your existing campaign. This product shares the same graphic design and aesthetics as the rest of the range and is similarly beginner friendly. There are lots of clearly marked narrative passages to read out and tips for portraying particular NPCs, which is helpful for the new or less confident GM. And there are plenty of NPCs included, some of which have fully detailed stat blocks and the others use templates from the core book, but each gives you the page number to speed things up dramatically. About half the pages have art on, most of which is suitable for the players to view at the appropriate time. If you don't want to run the adventure, there are 2 parts you may find particularly helpful regardless. Firstly is the setting of Slow Tide Harbour, which you can use as is or adapt to a port that suits your needs. It has 5 pages of locations and NPC information, as well as sidebars detailing the historic and cultural attitude of the Rokugani to foreigners. There is a map, which, whilst pretty and thematic, is small. You can use it with the official tokens, but you will probably want to photocopy it to stop players seeing the information on those pages. Next up are the rules for creating characters from the Tortoise Miner Clan, using the Kasuga Smuggler School. It follows a similar presentation to existing character outlines and has a full curriculum table all the way up to rank 6. This leaves 21.5 pages of adventure. There is advice on how to use the outcomes of the adventure going forward, but no formal 4th part is suggested. Something we want to highlight is the customization options for this story. There is some flexibility for the GM in the endings, and it is possible to replay this adventure with slightly different antagonists. Definitely a bonus for the GM who wants to keep this fresh for themselves when running it for different groups or multiple times at a convention, for example. Finally, you have the credits page, and it is gratifying to see all the artists and playtesters getting a mention. And a familiar name is Rob Hobart, who did some sterling work on previous editions and masterminded the Living Rokugan organised play program. That's it, Samurai! Some of us have been playing RPGs for many years now, and this screen is certainly one of the best designed and most durable we have come across, and we look forward to using it.